Got a news story right here. This is provided to me by Dill Murray. This is from Variety. I don't know what this is, so I'm just going to read it. Thuso Mbedu, hope I'm saying that correctly. Amanda Stenberg coming hot off of Star Wars The Acolyte. And Damson Idris, that damn Idris, in Tosin Cole to star in Children of Blood and Bone at Paramount. Let's see here. Taking on lead roles, the highly anticipated film adaptation of Children of Blood and Bone. Okay, is based on Tomi Adeyemi's best-selling novel from Paramount Pictures. Okay. So, what is the movie about? The Mebdu, who previously starred in Prince by Thor's Circle Up with the Woman King, will play Zelly, a young woman living in a fantasy... Oh, this is what I was talking about! Living in a fantasy African kingdom who embarks on a quest to reclaim the magic that was violently stolen from her people by the ruthless King Saren. The story follows Zelly and her older brother, Zane, as they form an alliance with the king's daughter, Princess Amari Stenberg, and son, Prince Inan. Idris, that damn Idris, to fight back against his brutal role. So I'm so honored to be exciting to bring Tomi's Children of Blood and Bone, vibrant world of Orisha to life, says Prince Python. Okay. Most 2018, Niami's Children of Blood and Bone has become a smash hit. The novel and its two sequels, Children of Virtue and Vengeance and Children of Anguish and Anarchy, collectively known as the Legacy of Orisha trilogy, spending a combined 175 weeks in the New York Times bestseller list. Pretty good. And total, the series is almost 3 million copies worldwide and garnered critical acclaim, with Children of Blood and Bone being featured as a top 100 fantasy books of all time. Okay, that's pretty good. Let me actually see here. I want to see the just the books, what they kind of look like. Get a vibe for them. Oh, I like the art. Oh, that looks pretty. Yeah, look at that, chat. That looks nice. And so, listen, I brought this up before in the past. And funny enough, it had to do with The Wiz. Like one of the things, because I've seen The Wiz for the first time not too long ago, and we brought it up again when I think Wicked had come out. Because that is an adaptation of kind of like a new retelling, if you will, The Wizard of Oz from the Wicked Witch's perspective. And, but in any case, like one of the things that kind of bothered me about the film version, the cinematic adaptation of The Wiz, which was also a stage musical, was that like how they kind of just featured like all the black people in the setting for their story. Like it's set in the inner city instead of like magical forest. Like we're in a fucking subway station and shit. And the scarecrow's made of trash. It was just like, why are we doing it this way? Like I think, and I've said this before. Like one thing I think would be interesting with just fantasy movies or taking a predominantly like black fantasy film is like we'll lean into like, different cultures that we haven't really seen before on screen in a fantasy setting. Because, we've gotten stuff where it's, your typical kind of European fantasy, you got Norse fantasy and like all that stuff, but never like really African fantasy. And I know that exists. Like there's so many like legends and mythology you can borrow from religions and things and cultures where I'm like, you can probably create like a really cool, interesting universe. And see, I didn't even know about this book series, Children, or at least the first one, Children of Blood and Bone, and that sounds cool to me. And so hearing about this is going to get an adaptation. I think that's awesome. Yeah, I think this is great news. Something new, something that has a new distinct look, a new flavor, if you will. So I mean, this sounds great. What about you guys? I'm looking forward to this. So thank you again, Dill Murray, for bringing this to my attention. Racist ass Melly Gibson. Yeah. The Flavor's not getting good reviews so far. I'm not surprised. But we'll see. I'll check it out for myself tomorrow. I'll let you know what I think. Let's see here. So, boy, I just got back from Flavors. Talk about Carton Front. Yes, let me know. Chris, I like the director, so that's a good start. So, Black Panther with... I mean, I'm not saying, like, give me Black Panther magic. I'm just saying there is just so much, because it's not... It's Hopefully this doesn't come across as ignorant in me saying, but when it comes to like a lot of mainstream fantasy, it's mostly borrowing from like, European content, right? European myths and legends and stories and things, right? Everything from fucking Beowulf to Lord of the Rings, right? But I feel like there's like a segment that's not been like mainstream, or it's kind of been neglected. It's not looked at. And I feel like you can do a lot of like the African culture. You can do a lot with those religions and mythologies and stories, which I'm sure that they all exist. And so to hear that this story is taken from that, I think that's really cool. I think that would make a great adaptation. It's something new and something fresh. So I'm all about it. I think that's like a great thing. So yeah, Black Panther magic. Which sounds awesome to me. I'm all about that. And but that's also, listen, but that's also one of the many reasons why Black Panther, I think, performs so well. It's not only like this beloved, black superhero from comic books, right? But it's just it's a cool depiction of like an African country. It's the most advanced civilization on the planet. They use this rare substance to create all these things. They isolate. It's also just a cool scenario. They isolate themselves from the world, keep all their secrets safe, and got the political intrigue. Like, it's all building and building and building and building. It's like, oh wow, that's why I think that's a huge reason as to why Black Panther in the movies, and the excitement around it for all these years continues to just grow. And it was something different visually that we're not used to seeing. And so I'm hoping that this will also be like that. I think that's great. I think it's really cool. Black people in fantasy? Woke. Oh, I know. I'm sure. So it's so funny is, and it'll just expose them for what, we all know what they are. But if they're like super, because they're already saying like, okay, so for example, you have like these fantasy stories and they might do like a race swap, a gender swap, right? And their excuse is like, don't do this, just create new stories with, and you can have all the black and all the, various, characters be that way, right? But now it's like, okay, well, they're doing that. So like, that's exactly what they're doing with this story. This is what I'm talking about. And so and if they're going to call like this out, then it's like, so you just don't want to see these people in a fantasy setting to begin with, even if it's based on their own like culture and in mythology and in history. It's you just don't want that. Like, and then at that point, they'll just expose themselves, obviously, right? So they'll back themselves into a corner. Deadpool says, I heard about the Children of Blood and Bone, her an NPR interview with the author. Nice. Sounds like it could be really good. It sounds interesting. It sounds different. I think that's exciting. Sounds like an 80s fantasy, but yeah, exactly. Like a dark 80s, because you got the political intrigue in it. Oh man, could you imagine? If it's kind of has the same feeling as something like a Conan the Barbarian? I'd fucking love that. I'm all about that. So that makes me excited. Yeah. But with a predominantly all black cast. Never heard of it until recently. Same. I'm familiar with it. I'm interested in reading the book now. Me too. The African mythos seems like, it's untapped. Exactly. You nailed it, Biggie Smith. It's an untapped story source. And I'm not saying like, and I want them to stop, making European fantasy movies or things or fantasy films based on European like culture and mythology. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like, let's get some more. Let's get some different ones in here. I think that could be cool. So exactly, it's obviously been untapped for years, for decades. So yeah, hopefully it'll inspire a new little subgenre. Yeah, Black Panther's more science and magic. Yes. Good to see. We'll be talking about that. We'll talk about Denis Villeneuve in just a bit. A lot more and mythos they can tap into. Chris, the simple answer is the internet shows are, I know, exactly. Exactly. They're just racist morons, 100%. 100%. But at that point, then it's like, all right, you just don't want to see these people like you just don't want to see them, obviously. So, yeah, I'm going to put this up. I think this sounds fucking cool. I think this sounds awesome. And so if you, and the people, like if people who comment on this video, or if you're suddenly going to be, like, what's your excuse? Why wouldn't you want this? If your common complaint is you don't like it when they race swap these characters or they put in black characters in the typical European inspired mythological fantasy movies and stuff like that, right? Okay, and then it's like, all right, well, and you already said like, make up your own stuff, and it's like, well, that's exactly what they're fucking doing. Okay, so. What's your excuse now? Are you going to complain about this too? All right? Because if you do, it's going to be egg on your face, buckaroo. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, the simple answer is they just don't want to see black people in anything. Of course. But this is what I'm talking about. This is what I've been talking about for a very long time. And I think this is really cool and unique. I'm hoping it's great. I mean, hopefully it's not a bad adaptation. Hopefully it's good, obviously. But I think that's really cool. Batboy, good day, everybody, by the way, Batboy. Tom Adeyemi, if I'm mispronouncing these names, my apologies. The author is a Nigerian-American writer, and apparently inspirations for her story was a mix of West African mythology, there you go, and culture, and also Harry Potter. It's a young adult fantasy adventure with an all-African cast of characters. Cool. Ryan Coogler called Andy Serkis and Martin Freeman the token white boys. I mean, they were. It's true. And he killed one of them. Oh, there's more to the cast? Oh, shit. I'll go back to it in just a second. I was looking at some other things. Okay. So I'm just reading this right now. Here, I'll go back and I'll keep reading your comments, going back and forth. But this is an interesting story. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I've wanted. Initial breakout talents: Mdu, Stenberg, The Hate You Give, Buys Bodies, Idris, Snowfall. Oh, that's the kid. That's that kid from that show. Okay. F1 and Cole. The film will feature an comparable ensemble cast, including Academy Award winners Viola Davis. Oh, wow. As Mama Agba. A Grammy and Emmy winner and Academy Award winner Cynthia Erivo. Wow. As Admiral Kea. SAG Award winner Idris Elba. As Lacan. Lashana Lynch. As Jamoke. And Academy Award nominated Chodi Ejiofor. Wow. As King Saren. That's a hell of a goddamn supporting cast. That's pretty good. So you got like you have your younger black actors, obviously, right? Who would be like kind of the main characters, the main children characters, obviously. But then you have your veterans, your veteran actors in there. So that sounds pretty cool. And she's joined the cast for Academy Award winner Regina King. Oh, wow. So even more. Regina King's going to get in there. Nice. Diana Bannikova. I'm not unfamiliar with her. But that sounds fucking cool. That's what I'm talking about, chat. So, yeah, they're packing this with a lot of talent. I think that sounds wonderful. I think that sounds really cool. Let's see here. My screen went out for whatever reason. Oh, there it is. Bishop Sycamore, good to have you here. Welcome. Just reading a news story. So, for those that just joined us, I'll just reiterate this briefly. There is going to be an adaptation of this new book series. I guess fantasy book series, which is primarily taking inspiration from West African culture and mythology. The book is called Children of Bone. It's part of a series that I guess has 3 or however many books in it. And they just got a lot of talented folks in it. And so apparently it's set to debut on theaters, they're saying in 2027, which sounds really cool. I think that's great. And I've talked about this before, how I feel like, and I think Biggie Smith put it perfectly, like African mythology is untapped in terms of doing like fantasy or science fiction adaptations, so sci-fi fantasy adaptations. So I think that's great. I think it sounds really, really cool. Eddie Berserker, Kevin, good to have you, Edgy. Witness me. Sorry, I muted the rate notification because we're talking about this big story. But good to have you here, Edgy. Hope you're doing very well. A pleasure. Thank you so much. Witness me. I'm witnessing you, Edgy. Hope you're doing great. What were you doing on your stream? What was on your docket for this evening? Let me know. We're getting all the big African actors somewhere you can bet Oprah. Will Oprah join, but will she have her Super Saiyan hair from A Wrinkle in Time? I will allow Oprah to join this epic fantasy mythological film, but she needs to wear her wig from A Wrinkle in Time. Going fucking Super Saiyan. Playing some Tekken 8. It was great. Nice. Very good. Very good. Chat, as always, check out your Berserker's channel and platforms. Recently just finished a run of Fear and Hunger 2 Tournament of Edgy Berserker. She guided me. She guided my dumb brain through all that crazy World War II steampunk penis land. And we won. We defeated the internet, and then we became the internet. It was pretty cool. It was awesome. It was very, very enjoyable. So good to have you here, Edgy. Thank you again for the very kind raid. And chat, please be sure to check out Edgy Berserker streams. You defeated Elon Musk. I defeated Elon Musk's internet sex doll. And then I became the internet sex doll. Oh, no. A giant Oprah. We can get a giant Oprah. That'd be fun. But yeah, in any case, this sounds really cool. This is what I've been talking about. Because I was wondering, I even said, these books must exist. They must be out there. And lo and behold, they do. And they're adapting them. So, yeah, I'll be keeping my eyes on this project. This sounds really, really cool. And if these fucking internet chuds are going to be complaining about this, then even though they're literally doing what they said that they should do. It's like, make your own shit. Okay. That's what they're going to do. So why would you complain? Why would you complain? Now, what is your excuse? Fresh stuff is always, exactly. It keeps the genre and its many subgenres, in this case fantasy, healthy. Keeps it alive, doing new things with it. It's cool. You know, you welcome other people who may feel like, I don't feel like represented by this genre and stuff. Well, here you go. This is a great way to do it. And it's embracing the culture and the religions and the mythology that we don't often see in fantasy films. So I think that's a great thing. I think it's a really cool thing, and I'm looking forward to it. This is exactly what I've been talking about. Can't wait. Andy Zucker, fresh stuff is great. Honestly, a lot of us don't know anything about African. Exactly. I know nothing. I know zip. So it'll be like, all right, I'm going to let it wash over me. It's going to be really cool. Yep, agreed. I absolutely see Ejiofor and Stenberg as father and daughter. They have so many similar facial features. Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, they do look like each other. That's true. Yeah, good point. Yep, looking forward to it, chat. So thank you, Dimmer, for bringing this to my attention. That was a good conversation. I'm gonna upload that. I'm gonna make this a segment on YouTube. I think it's it should get some traction. It should get some notice.